So hopefully folks can see my screen okay. My name is Jason Buffington. On paper, I am the course director for the course, but in reality, as Jess mentioned, it's her course. This absolutely is a youth-run program. Youth learn better from other youth. So the meeting we're going to go through tonight, though, is a lot of parents have questions. And so we're going to spend a good chunk of the time just kind of setting up expectations. Our goal, by the way, is 30 minutes. We're just going to try to give you some information, provide you a chance to ask any questions that you have, and then we'll let you go on about the rest of your evening, because you're probably missing some other scout meeting to come to this one. So with that in mind, let me see if I can get a screen up. There we go. So if we were in person, I'd ask you for a show of hands as to who's taken Wood Badge. Now, Wood Badge is the adult leadership training course for the VSA, and NYLT does use many of the same leadership elements going on in a Wood Badge course, except, of course, this is by and for teenagers, especially senior youth. And as such, there are a couple key differences. The main one being there are actually 3 different courses going on at the same time, whether you know it or not. If you are on today's call, you are likely either a participant or the parent of one of the lovely blue boxes on the bottom of your screen. We have 46 out of 48 youth signed up for this course. Technically, by the way, that means that if you do have 1 or 2 last siblings, assuming that Ms. Hill has food, you might actually squeeze in. But I'm pretty sure we are locked at 46 bright souls that will be joining us for the course. The course itself, though, is actually being delivered by predominantly 16 youth staff. Each of the groups that you see on the bottom are patrols. We use the same Wood Badge 8 critters that we use in the adult program. Each one gets a troop guide, which should be their best friend and their shepherd for the 5 days of that course. We also have 4 absolutely fantastic instructors coming in that are going to be delivering some great material for us. And then 4 quartermasters, because this course doesn't happen without a lot of materials and a lot of logistics. And quartermasters are the unsung heroes that actually make the course happen. This is a leadership event. So the youth staff, about half of them, by the way, are first-time staffers. So they are learning by modeling what these leadership traits are supposed to be and by teaching them. One thing that most adults have learned over time, there's no better way to learn something than by teaching it. And so they're getting that chance to do that as well. Let's see, I'm going to keep trying to occasionally pause and admit more folks in for those that are joining just a little bit late. And then we have our senior staff, of which Jessica O'Neill is our SPL for the course. As I said, this really is her course. She has 3 absolutely fantastic young adults, one of which is the ASPL for the troop guides, one is the ASPL for our instructors, another one who is the ASPL for our quartermasters, and they really lead the course. What they're learning, if you can imagine back in college, the participants are taking a bachelor level class in leadership. The youth staff in orange, they are taking the master's level class. Think they like a teaching assistant or a TA or someone running some of the labs. And then we have our PhD doctoral students, Jess and her 3 cohorts. And they're learning not only to lead, they've run this course multiple times, but also coaching those that then have to deliver and lead indirectly. And a program at scale. As you can see, there is a total at full program. We are 66 youth on this course going on. Just out of curiosity, how many courses have you done between NYLT and NAIL? Could you just share that with the group?
So I don't have the number memorized. I'm gonna have to go through it real quick. But is this including participant?
Yes.
Okay. Six or seven.
So that's participant 5 or 6 times as staffer, and then you did NAIL also, which is the advanced program that comes after this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the caliber person we have. One of the other, actually two other folks on this course are previous SPLs themselves. It's a really tenured, just an exceptional set of young people that are going to be running this program. In order to give them the best support they can, there actually is also some adults on the course as well. There's actually 9 adults attached to the program, 4 of us in more of a mentoring or advisor role directly to the 4 senior staff members, and then 5 true servant-hearted adults who are there to make sure the course actually runs, including 2 folks in the kitchen, a full-time medic, a full-time COVID compliance person, and then Mrs. O'Neill, our ASM of administration. She is in charge of all paperwork, and we're going to hear about that. But that is the course. It is within the room itself will be 4 adults and 66 youth. Fun will be had, friendships will be made, and some learning may occur. So I'll take a breath for a moment. If anyone has any questions around the format for the course, I'll answer those, and then otherwise we'll kind of get into the material and process that you'll need to be successful in coming on board on day 1. I love it when there's no questions. That means I explained everything correctly. All right. So important stuff. Please note, this is the important stuff that you need to be aware of. And the most important thing, nothing happens in scouting without paperwork. The ASM of administration, Susan O'Neill, is also on the phone. What you are seeing on your screen, by the way, you should have all received a PDF packet that includes a lot of this information. This is just a brief summary of that. There's a couple key things that you absolutely positively must have. One of them is a medical form. This is a long-term camp. This is not a weekend event, which means that your current medical form must have a Part C, not just a Part A and B. Remember, Part C includes the doctor's permission. You're going to want to have that. You do require an insurance card. Other things that you need, we are in the land of COVID. So Circle 10 requires 3 forms for us: the at-risk statement, the screening form, and an agreement to transport. You'll need to bring all medications that you need in their original containers. Any special dietary requests, you should be reaching out and letting us know about those. And then lastly, there is a requirement for the unit leader for your youth to agree that your scout is suitable to take this course. And that really just means that they're mature enough that they're going to be constructive and they're going to learn throughout this. And this is something they're going to benefit from. So all of this information, again, is in your packet. But to be clear, it's a long drive to Pottsboro to turn around and have to go home because you don't have paperwork. So please, please, please make sure that that gets signed off. Questions on paperwork? And Susan, if you want to come off mute to reinforce anything that I broke, please feel free.
No, the only thing I was thinking is check the little things. Make sure to copy that health insurance card. Make sure your doctor actually signed the paperwork. Sometimes they forget to sign and date. It's strange but true stories. And yes, your ABC medical is good within a year of issuance. So if you got it in May, you're still good.
Hey, Susan.
Yes.
Sorry to apologize. My name is Tanya Hill, and I'm with the senior SPL, senior advisors for NYLT. So I'm in the big course. Due to COVID, we've actually changed that date. That date is actually good for 2 years, just until the end of this year. So as long as your medical signed within the last 2 years, you will be good to go. That is an update that just came about the beginning of January.
Wow. Cool.
Every part of me just wants to go, yay, COVID. And that's not the right sentiment.
Yeah.
And yet, so glad to not have that. So Tanya, thank you for that ad. Susan, anything else I missed? Otherwise, I'll keep on going.
Keep going, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uniforms. This is the list of what to bring. This is again paraphrased out of your packet, but this is a national program, which means we do ask for the scouts to be in full uniform. A couple key things: jeans, athletic shorts is not part of the program. You want to use those, borrow those, somehow get away with that. Also, we will be providing every participant with 2 NYLT t-shirts and a hat. I was reminded today that I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm supposed to. Don't forget a jacket. It gets cold at night. It's important. I don't know why, but the fact that they said make sure to tell them to bring a jacket tells me on the last course someone didn't. Don't be that guy. All right. Next, everybody brings their own tent. Again, we have older youth. They always like to tent by themselves, and besides, COVID. So everyone does bring their own tent. We did actually have a couple requests around hammocks. And Jess, can I share what we talked about earlier for hammocks? Is that okay? So for those that are interested in hammocking, you are welcome to do that. There are 2 requirements. 1, you must still bring a tent for your gear and in case it rains. Your choice to bring a hammock does not absolve you of, my clothes are all wet because it rained last night. So you will need to bring a tent. Secondly, you do still need to camp with your patrol. So if your patrol has trees nearby, hammocks are good. If your patrol does not have trees nearby, you're in a tent. So, but those that want a hammock, you are welcome to do so. All right. Lastly, backpack. So this is a longer term camp, but please do not come with a foot locker because your scout has to carry it halfway across the camp. They're not going to like doing that with the foot locker. So you're really going to want more of a hiking style bag to kind of hold that stuff in. All right. So that's the main things that you need to make sure to bring. What not to bring. Notice it's in red. It's in bold. It's underlined. There are a couple key things that are really important for you to be aware of. Here's the trick. We're going to ask you during check-in, did you bring any of these things? We're going to do just like at Philmont and most of the high adventure camps. We're going to do a shakedown and go through and make sure that you got everything you need and nothing that you don't. If you got something that you forgot was in one of your pockets, check-in is a great time to give it back to mom and dad and let it drive home. If on day 3, we get complaints that, hey, so-and-so is on their phone all night texting their boyfriend or their girlfriend, you may not make the end of the week for the course. This is a big deal. So no phones. You should not need anything that needs electricity except your headlamp and a watch. And your watch should not need charging. So we're going to be old school for the week. You're not going to need any hatchets or axes. No real lumber work is going to happen as part of this course. No fireworks, please. Those will be provided by the staff if necessary. We won't need any hiking poles or staves. We're just not walking that far. No food or drinks unless you have special dietary requirements, in which case you need to talk to Ms. Hill. That was Tanya Hill, the person who was on earlier. We think we're aware of any dietary requirements because you were supposed to have filled those out on the login form when you first registered for the course. And if you did, we're good and you've already been connected with. If you have not been connected with by the kitchen manager and you think that you have a special dietary requirement, I need to know. I need to know really, really quick. No weapons of any kind. That's only for the course director. No tobacco, no drugs, no alcohol, no Rubik's Cubes, fidget toys, devices. I get that some people occasionally need something in their hands, but here's the problem is that what you have in your hand becomes distracting for somebody else. We want to give everyone the chance to focus. So this is your not to bring list. And unfortunately we have to be pretty zealous on it. So any questions or comments on these?
I have a question.
Yes.
All right. Do you want us to put the tent in our backpack, or are we allowed to carry it on our side?
You can carry it on your side, bolted to the side, duct tape. I don't prefer staple guns because then we have to use first aid and that's just uncool. But yeah, so it does not have to go inside, but it just has to be something where you're not going to make more than one trip. Great question.
All right. Thank you.
One more question.
Sure.
Will there be any heavy duty backpacking up in the mountains, or is it just going to be
Nah.
A to B?
No, it ain't that kind of course. So you're going to be hiking from the parking lot to one of the campsites where you'll be for the first couple days. And then you'll have a chance to hike to another campsite still within Camp James Ray. And then you'll come back, but nothing, it's less than a mile on any given leg, pun intended, leg, see what I did there, which is also why you're not going to need hiking poles or staves.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Any others? Great questions. Keep them coming. Okay. So that's your what not to bring list. And here's screenshots just to prove how invaluable that packet is that you got sent. It lists every single thing that you could want to bring, not want to bring, things you shouldn't have. And then our special credo, as far as, we're going to make this special. The bottom line is everything we do during that week is governed by the Scout Oath and Law and is meant to be fun and instructive in that order. Do those things and we're all going to have a fantastic week. If you have any questions about anything that's in the packet, you can feel free to send me a note. You'll find my email address on just about every page someplace. It's also on all the emails you've gotten received so far. All right, here comes the fun part. And parents, if you are multitasking, this is where you want to not do that. Let me tell you how pickup and drop off works. This is following the best practices of not only COVID, but we'll tell you that it works so well that we'll be doing this even after the world has beat the global pandemic. Drop off procedure. Let me walk you through a couple things. Please notice the really obnoxious red sign in the upper right-hand corner. Stay in your car. When you first get to beautiful Camp James Ray, please don't arrive earlier than 1 p.m. The staff is still getting ready. We're going to try to give them a little bit of food and top them off right before y'all got there. And it puts them in a really good mood. So that then at 1 o'clock, they are in their best place to serve your participants. All right, here comes the fun part. Stay in your car. Bathrooms are not available. So one of the things that is really important to us is in order for us to pull off a safe course, we are minimizing all external exposure that we can. And so what that means is we can't have a whole bunch of people walking through an hour before everybody meets everybody. So restrooms and those kind of things. So please, sorry, there's a Sonic and a Texaco and those few things just a few blocks away from camp. So please use those instead. All right. So when you first get there, don't pull in through the gates before 1 o'clock, but 1:01, we would love to see you. Everybody stays in their car. When you first get there, and Mr. Garcia is actually going to be in charge of temperature checks and those kinds of things. And so, Michael, I'm going to walk him through this. And if there's anything that you want to add, you're welcome to. First thing that happens when you come through, you're going to be in a single line and someone's going to come on each side of that car and zap you with a touchless thermometer. Everyone in the car gets tested. Okay, then here comes the neat part. If anybody in the car has a fever, then you'll be redirected to a side area so that you can kind of cool down a little bit. This is especially important during summer courses when it can get a little bit warm. Let's rest for a few minutes and we're going to do a retest of everybody. If fever is in the car anywhere, we are really sorry, but your scout cannot attend NYLT. Nobody gets out of the car. That is the deal. If everyone is free of fever, then we move on to the next step, which is where we go through that list of what you should have and that list of what you should not have. And we confirm both lists while the parent and the staff are together. Keep what you're supposed to, get rid of what you aren't, and then we're ready for the next step. Mr. Garcia, did I cover that correctly from a COVID perspective?
Absolutely. And I'll just drive home again. As sorry as we feel, we've got to keep everyone else's health and prevention of this. So if there is a fever in the car, it's not going to be pleasant, but we will have to send everybody home.
Okay, so everybody is fever free. You've confirmed you have what you're supposed to and not have what you're not supposed to. And then what's going to happen is the staffer is going to give you and the scout 2 matching cards that has your number on it. The parents, that number goes in the dashboard of your car. Scout, that goes in your pocket. What then is going to happen is the scout is going to take all their gear in one load, no foot lockers. And they're going to go inside and they're going to process their paperwork. The car, parents, you're going to drive into a temporary holding area and just wait for a few minutes just to make sure that all the paperwork processes correctly. Again, we're just trying to minimize that exposure and give everyone their best chance of staying safe for the entire week. This has worked really well in the last several courses. The scout goes in, the parents wait in the car. It's not going to be very long. We're going to process your paperwork. We're going to make sure that the medic is aware of all the prescriptions, aware of any allergies, make sure the kitchen's aware of any last allergies. We're going to make sure that you have what you need and don't have what you don't. We're going to take your official NYLT photo and confirm that your name is spelled correctly, because you're going to want that on your certificate and your name badge. And then lastly, we're going to assign you to a patrol, one of the 8 critters. You're going to meet your troop guide, or whom I prefer to think of as your new best friend. And then you are off to NYLT. At that point, if everything is good, the staffer is going to come back to the car in the waiting area, tell, car number 6, you're good. Your kid is off having fun. Why are you still here? At that point, you will get a small flyer. You'll get information on how to stay connected throughout the week, information about how graduation works. And then if you don't have it from the 18 emails that I've already sent, you will get one more piece of my email address and phone number. And I am your primary contact for the entire fun-filled 5.5 days. Please do not check on Johnny or Susie between midnight and 4 a.m. Those are my most important sleeping hours. The other 20, I'm pretty flexible. That's if everything's good. If anything's not good, a staffer and the scout will come back out to your car. We'll figure out whatever piece of paperwork is missing. We'll get it fixed. And then scout heads off to NYLT and you guys drive off. But that is the goal. Please note, by the way, in the lower right-hand corner, please keep your number and you'll explain why in just a minute. All right. Questions on drop-off. Does this all make sense? Driving
yes.
in.
I've got a question.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, I've only received one email, and that was the link. I didn't get the packet.
So if you got the email that had this contact information on it, the attachment should be on that. Because I sent all the attachments for the packet and then 2 other PDFs with this Zoom call information itself.
All right, I'll check that. Thanks.
No problem. And again, if you don't have it, if for any reason your email stripped it off for malware detected or whatever, there's my email address. Send it to me. I will send you a personal copy immediately afterwards. I promise. Other questions on drop-off?
Question.
Hi, Leanne.
My son has I've received email, but I will to bring him some food. This point, I would send it in, or will that happen?
Leanne, you're kind of breaking up on me, but what I think I'm hearing you say is you might have some dietary requirements because you mentioned the word food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Ms. Hill, who's running our kitchen, to contact you off thread, and let's just make sure we have everything that we need in order to be effective.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, I think I sent you an email today. Did I not?
Yes, you did. I got it. But I'm just wondering, when do I send his food in?
Oh, yeah. So let's just bring all the food in, let's bag it, and then bring it in when the scout comes in. Just let the staffer know when you get the card as he's walking. If you need an extra set of hands, the staffer can help bring that food into the kitchen for you. Again, we're just keeping everything as isolated as we can.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. That sounds good. Thanks.
Sure. All right, we have just a few more minutes because Zoom is going to kick us off. One more way to keep us all punctual. 5 days later. SpongeBob reference for anyone who didn't get it. All right, so we've gone through the course. We've had an absolutely fantastic time. Here's what happens. Graduation right now is slotted for around 1:30. We really need you there by 2. It's a great week. Let us finish strong. But that being said, a lot can happen on that last day. Just be flexible, be patient. We promise to give you your child back. But just stay in your cars, be in your lines, and we will give them back. We don't want them. It's true. Some of them will not have showered in those 5 days. It's important. So again, just like on intake, bathrooms are not available. We're sorry. It's part of COVID compliance. It is what it is. You will get instructions when you drop off, final instructions on what it's going to look like. But basically what's going to happen is that when you arrive back at James Ray on Friday, you will text the number on the card that you get, And what you will text is you will text your number. So you'll text in and maybe Mr. Garcia or Mrs. O'Neill or me. But if your number was 23 when you dropped off, you're going to text a 23 on the way back in. And that's going to let us know that you're actually in the parking lot ready to receive your kid. If we get a text message that says 23 is in the parking lot, then once graduation's over, we're going to send 23 to the parking lot. We don't get your text. We have to keep your kid, and no one wants that. So, so please make sure, text your number, keep your number. If you lose it, it's like a claim check for a coat rack. We don't know whose kid it is, and we have to keep them. And the lost and found can only take one kid at a time. It's awkward. Anyway. So that's graduation. The only thing I will say, and I try to be lighthearted, but just in all sincerity, please be ready by 2 o'clock. Graduation is going to be done at 1:30. We're going to have your kids to you by 2 o'clock. After you leave, the staff still has a couple more hours of work to do to wrap up the course. And as much as we have had a blast, we will be exhausted. So get your kid so we can go home too.
So
with all the love
Jason,
and respect we can. Yes, Susan.
one of the hats I'm wearing, not only as administration, is as photographer. And I promise to put up signs of live photos. I don't promise that every child will be posted every day. I'll try to get through everybody in the first 2 days, so you know they made it through the first night. As far as graduation, it will be on Facebook. Is that correct? We have a question in the chat.
Yeah. So, Jess, I think you just come off mute, but I think last time we were able to actually Facebook live stream the graduation. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do this time as well.
Yeah. So we will provide proof of life. I think we said that we're using the C10 NYLT Instagram as our primary source of photos for proof of life. Susan, is that correct?
I think on Instagram, we're only allowed to post pictures of staff.
Got it.
On Facebook, because it's a private group that you all should be able to join.
Yep.
After we can post pictures of participants.
So when you drop off your youth, one of the instructions that you'll get is actually how to stay connected throughout the week. So we will provide you links for the group me's, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, whatever the Snapchats, anything we got that can let you see that your child is alive and potentially having fun. We will provide that information as well. All right. And I think Zoom is going to give us like 4 minutes, which is going to minimize the questions. But if anybody has any for Jess or I or Mrs. O'Neill or Mr. Garcia, please come off mute.
And check the chat.
Oh yeah, I just answered a question. So the time that drop off is, it's at 1 o'clock is when we'll start.
1 o'clock on drop off.
Through.
All right. If you have any other questions, please feel free. If you have somebody who just thought, oh man, I didn't realize that Sunday meant Sunday. We do technically have 2 spots open. Ms. Hill may be feeding them peanut butter and jelly 3 times a day, but we would take them if they signed up. No peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, peanut butter and jelly. Plenty of food for everybody and plenty of snacks.
I had a question.
Yes, Dave.
I didn't see the COVID at risk statement. Was it sent?
Yeah, all 3 of the attachments should have been on the same email that has the Zoom information. One of the PDFs is double-sided, so look for that. But when you print it, they're both there.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Anything else?
Just to confirm, this is at James Ray.
It is. Beautiful Camp James Ray, Pottsboro, Texas. I strongly recommend the Sonic before you enter property.
Got it. Thanks.
And by the way, if you're coming in late and you want to have an extra cherry limeade, no ice, someone will probably drink it. Just saying. So, all right. Anything else? All right. We are looking forward to it. We have been planning this course for 1.5 years. We are super, super excited. And the course looks full, and looking over the bios, we've got some exceptional youth coming, and they're going to meet some exceptional youth on staff. We are prepared. The only thing missing is y'all. So we will see you in 6 days or less. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me. If I don't know, I will ask Jess, and we'll get you answers as quick as we can. So thank you so much. And we'll see you at NYLT next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for all you're doing.
Thanks. Bye.